I'm back. If I sound a little off, I've got a cold. And here's another very rare drive time. I'm going to make this real simple for you. I did that video 3 weeks ago. I said Biden was done. He was. Because everybody, the whole world, saw what myself and others have been seeing for at least the last 2.5, if not 3 years. Some people are saying 4, but I started noticing it maybe 2.5 years ago, because initially, because of Joe Biden's history of lying and making gaffes in the past, I thought that's what it was. And the media was ignoring it. And the rhinos were saying they're just gaffes. But they were not just gaffes. They were dementia. So I didn't put all this together until after listening to all that I have listened to and reading all that I have read. I see how they have pulled off the biggest scam in America. So let me walk you through it. First, the setup. They did the investigation on Joe Biden about the classified documents. Y'all ought to remember that. Yeah, you should. Merrick Garland came back with, he's just an old man, and the jury would see him as a sympathetic individual, and I would not be able to get a conviction. That doesn't mean that man didn't do anything wrong. He was saying it ain't worth our time to convict. But here's the key. He would not release those audio tapes up to 6 hours. That was a setup. I'm going to break that down in a minute when I get to it. So after we get that in the mix, they had already determined that Biden had to go. They knew he wouldn't make another term. They knew he wouldn't be able to do anything. So what do they do next? All of a sudden, remember before Joe Biden was hiding down in his basement. But all of a sudden they let Joe Biden go on television for the whole world to see. And he bombed. Everybody saw the man bomb. And the sugar on top was when he introduced Zeke as Putin and called Trump his vice president. Icing on the cake. Something's wrong with the man, and all of the fools that have been supporting Joe Biden now saw it in real time. So now we got that going. So then you saw certain not Republicans, but Democrats coming out saying Joe Biden needed to step aside. But that was already in the mix. But they were constantly saying, I'm digging in, Joe didn't want to go. Now, something that many of you may not know, the Clintons don't like the Bidens, and Obama don't like the Bidens. But Obama was saddled with Joe Biden, just like Ronald Reagan was saddled with his VP. And I think Donald Trump was saddled with Mike Pence. Either way, the deep state is going to put somebody in the mix that they want to try and control what's going to go down. So let us move forward a little more. Now they're asking Joe Biden to step back. Keep in mind, 14.5 million people chose Joe Biden through our democratic process. That's who those dumbasses wanted to go back to Washington, D.C. and be in the White House, despite all that they have seen. Negroes, despite the crime bill of 1994, despite, was it 84? Crime bill of 1984, it may have been 84. I've said it so much that I don't even remember. Despite all of Joe Biden's racist comments, despite all of that, the Negroes still wanted him, and the liberal whites still wanted him, despite all of the gaffes, and the signs of dementia. They still wanted him. 14.5 million people chose him through the democratic process, which I don't have a problem with. You like it, I love it. That's what my mama used to tell me to tell people. Okay, you go right on, go on ahead. Because if you like it, I'm going to love it. And when it comes back to bite you, remember, mama always told you, a hard head makes a soft behind. But anyway, so they got him. But now these people, the powers that be, want to get rid of Joe Biden. And they found a way to do it. 3 weeks later, Joe Biden's out. But Joe Biden didn't want to go. But guess what the blackmail is? Because Jill Biden wasn't trying to hear it. And this is where the carrot and the stick comes into play. Jill, if you don't get Joe Biden somewhere to sit his ass down, we will see to it that Eric Garland, or Merrick Garland, whatever his name is, gives up those tapes. And it will be proof positive that the man should have had the 25th Amendment invoked a long time ago, but they didn't. And then your reputation, your whole family's reputation, will be ruined. Do you think they were going to read that? So Jill, the carrot, take being First Lady for the next 6 months and let your son, Hunter, get that Biden, because we're going to make sure that Dementia Joe provides him with that pardon before he's out of office, because that's what all of the presidents do at the end of their term. And they're probably going to speed up that next trial so that he gets the conviction too sweet. So now they're out. Now there will not be an open primary. This is the other key. They have summarily decided, damn what 14.5 million idiots want it, and Joe Biden being president again. Forget about that. Forget about the inflation that we have. They just keep telling that lie. Inflation is down. Eggs went up, because, you know, to get eggs, people have to deliver it, and if the fuel prices go up, you know, they pass that cost. I'm not going to get into economics with you. You should understand what I'm talking about. All of that went down, and yet they still wanted Joe Biden. Well, they're still not going to get him, because other people, the Obamas, Pelosi, I shouldn't say the Obamas, because I don't think Big Mike want to be involved in this nonsense at all. But Barack Obama, who don't like Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, who don't like Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, I don't know who she likes, Chuck Schumer, damn sure don't know who he likes, and the rhinos, because the rhinos are part and parcel to all that's happening in the country. They couldn't do it, the Democrats couldn't do what they do if it were not for the participation of the rhinos in the falsehood. Okay, so now they have got them on the ropes. Joe Biden is out, and the 14.5 million people are now going to get this. I don't even know if I want to say it. They're going to get the crow. I had a different word in mind. Who masquerades as a Negro, and she is not a Negro. Ain't never gave a damn about Negroes. She locked up, well, only because it was in California. She didn't lock up as many Negroes as Joe Biden's crime bill, but she got a whole bunch of them over weed. Giving them time over weed. Time over weed. And she didn't feel bad about it, never apologized for it. But she got up on that debate stage with Joe Biden and called Joe Biden a racist. Y'all ought to remember that. That's why Jill Biden didn't want it to be her. Okay? And that's why Big Mike said that he would endorse Kamala Harris, because she don't like the Bidens. You want to know why she don't like the Bidens? Did I say she? Lord forgive me. You want to know why he don't like the the Bidens because of how Hunter and the Joe Biden family treated Hunter's ex-wife, and also the fact that they denied their grandchild. Hunter even sued the mother of his child because she was trying to use the Biden last name for the child. These things are all out there. You can go and look them up and you can see for yourself. So now that they have gotten Joe Biden out, they have swindled the 14.5 million fools that voted for Joe Biden in the first place. They had a whole bunch of other people they could have chose from. Maybe I shouldn't say a whole bunch, but they at least had Robert F. Kennedy. But hell, they kicked his butt out of the party and wouldn't even provide him with Secret Service protection. And I wish they weren't providing it to Donald Trump. And that brings me to that other point. It was a failed attempt. Their Hail Mary, the rhinos and segregation Jim Crow Joe et al., they failed in taking out Donald Trump because the hand of God were upon him. And that's just is what that is. So Biden is out. Kamala is being stepped up. And Kamala is going to pick a white man. Trust me, it ain't going to be Montel Williams. And Montel Williams is the one that introduced her, as they call it, to the paparazzi. And then, you know, Willie Brown and all that other stuff came right on. Why do you think they call a woman Heels Up Harris? So, she's stepping up. But here's the problem. The rhinos and the Democrats and that sodomite press secretary have been lying to Americans the whole time about Joe Biden's mental acuity. They've been lying their butts off. Lying like a wet bag of cement. That being the case, the people that can invoke the 25th are the VP or his cabinet members. Kamala Harris has been going along to get along. And they knew this was coming. Hey, look, I didn't see it at first, but now it's crystal clear. And now she's in. She actually could have taken the position a long time ago. But then she would have been betraying the deep state, the 1%ers, the rhinos and the Democrats. And I don't think she got balls enough to do that. It ain't like she's a Big Mike. So she went along to get along. But that is where the biggest fraud lies. They have been lying to us. Well, they weren't lying to me. Well, they were lying to me, but I knew they were lying. They have been lying the whole time in an effort to keep it going, the charade going for as long as they could. And when they got ready to let it out, they sent Joe Biden out there to destroy himself on stage. That's what that was all about. And that's why this has been so easy. 3 weeks after they sent him out there to fail, that's where it came down. If those tapes that Garland had been released, Joe Biden would have been 25th a long time ago. But we never got him. In fact, I think that the court just ruled that they couldn't force Merrick Garland to give him up. So, or at least they didn't back up what Congress was trying to do in order to get him, and I think they're going to try and proceed further. But hell, it's too late now, because their hope is that by the time it comes down to that, they'll have Kamala in place, and that'll all just be squashed. The biggest fear for the rhinos and the Democrats is they don't want Donald Trump in office so that Donald Trump can bring about the justice, which in my humble opinion, he should have done when he was in office the first time. When he made the statement in that debate with Hillary Clinton, because you'll be in jail, I really hope that he had moved forward, because there were so many people doing so many corrupt things. Maybe Donald Trump just felt like, well, maybe they will go away. I'm in office. Let me get in here and do what I need to do for the country, and we're going to keep it moving. But it didn't work out that way, and they have pulled all the stops to try and stop Donald Trump, including trying to kill him. And I shared the video everywhere that I could with the interview with Tucker Carlson and Donald Trump, where Tucker said that, and then an interview where Tucker Carlson was talking to somebody. Tucker Carlson said, man, map it out. They tried everything. The only thing left, and I'm paraphrasing, the only thing left is an assassination. Map it out. And that's exactly what happened. So there you have it, folks. Biden's out, but this is how it happened. This has all been orchestrated, choreographed theater for the fools that support Joe Biden. But I'm telling you, those of you that are conservatives or Republicans that still ain't got a clue about rhinos, know that those rhinos knew all along that Joe Biden should have been taken out of office under the 25th Amendment, but they did nothing to stop it. And they could have. It would mean that somebody would just have to do something to the level of what Edward Snowden did when we found out they were spying on us, or what Julian Assange did when he released those classified documents. But ain't none of them got balls enough big enough to do that. And that's just it. So I don't do these videos for money. I haven't been doing them a long time, but a number of people were asking me to do it. The reason I stopped doing them, and I'm getting ready to close, the reason I stopped doing them, I really didn't see where it was really making that big of a difference. Because most of the people that you talk to, they still believe the same old nonsense, even when you sit down and you talk to them in their face. But there's always a way. So I'm going to share this one little bit of information with you. When you run into a Trump hater, the way you instantly shut them down is this. You ask them, name me one law or executive order that Trump has signed into law or signed respectfully that has violated the Constitution, violated your constitutional protections, destroyed democracy, or made him a dictator. Nobody has an answer because it doesn't exist. When I asked this one guy, I told him, I said, next time you post on my wall, if you haven't answered these questions, it will be your last time being able to comment on my wall, because I'm sick of your Trump hate nonsense. If you saw my last video, you saw my frustration with the ignorant. I just cannot do it anymore. I will not do it any longer. And I suggest you take the same course and shut people down. If you appreciate this video, buy me a cup of coffee. How about that? $ TMOTOFGA, Georgia. And TMOT out. Drive time. Till next time. And I got one more video coming for you about what Trump is actually going to do when he's elected. Peace out.